Okay, our last item is the Sunshine Street Team presentation. This is presented by Councilmember Nurse.
Well, actually, all I'm doing is introducing Tami Sims, who's going to take... But for a second, wait a second. Well, yes.
Thank you, Councilman Nurse. Madam Chair, council members, Deputy Mayor, nobody ever likes to be the last one on the agenda. But I wonder when the last time you were left with a row of sunshine.
There you go. Look at that.
I'm Tami Sims, and I'm here today as president of the Downtown Business Association. And along with me, please introduce yourself, Sharon.
My name is Sharon Fennell-Kennedy, and I'm the executive director of the Sunshine Street Team.
And so the Sunshine Street Team is a volunteer visitor experience program. And they are pulling up the presentation, I believe. Perhaps you should have it in PDF and PowerPoint.
I like the guys with the shirts.
There we go. I see it there. There we are. So I couldn't be prouder of this endeavor, the Sunshine Street Team. And I want to say that it all started last year when Terry Watson, who is in the middle there, wave your hand, who is a fine citizen, came to me and said, you know, I visit cities where they have people on the streets that greet people and help them find their way, and I think that we should have one here. Would you like to take that idea? And I said, yes, I think we would. And so it was pitched to the board of the Downtown Business Association. We got some verbal commitments from some sponsors to fund the program. The members supported it, and away we went. We commissioned a logo from a local artist, as you can see there. We had a great contest, and we hired Sharon because those of us who are in that volunteer organization knew better than to try to take on an endeavor as volunteers ourselves. It was the smartest decision that we ever made, I can tell you that for sure. So I've scattered throughout this presentation some photos of your volunteers, and you see several of them here in front of you today taking a little time out of their other schedule, since this is not a Sunshine Street Team shift day. In fact, you can see our mission, fostering a friendly and inviting image of St. Petersburg. We want people to walk away from this city saying that is the most awesome place I've ever been, and I can't wait to go back. So we want to bolster tourism. We want to promote local businesses. And as wonderful as our beach drive is, and that is a lot of where we spend our time, we also want people to understand that if they go a few blocks that way and a few blocks that way, they'll encounter more and they'll find other things to do. And in fact, there's so much to do that you'll have to come back for another longer visit. Right? Even if you're coming from just across town. So we also wanted to create opportunities for burgers. All of our volunteers are burgers, to show pride in their city and to be able to give back through volunteering. I remember in the early part, someone said, do you think you'll actually be able to find people who are interested in volunteering to do this? Yes, absolutely. Now, is it appropriate, Madam Chair, to distribute some pamphlets? All right.
Make sure.
All right, excellent, excellent. So, Councilman Gertis, you'll be sure to take one of those, because these are designed to help engage volunteers. So take a few, pass them along to folks. And so we also thought that it was important to generate metrics, right? So this all sounds good and it's a wonderful thing, but how can it help us understand what our visitors are looking for and what we need to respond to? So part of the charge for Sharon was to generate metrics. Each of the volunteers, after they go out, they provide a report back to Sharon saying who they ran into, what crazy things they encountered. It seems as though we find a lot of wallets and reunite them with their rightful owners. And so all of that gets articulated to all the other volunteers so we can learn from each other, but then Sharon is developing that so that those figures get reported out. We'll talk about that in just a second, so that our businesses can understand what are people asking for, right? What are people having difficulties with? So speaking of who, what, when, and where, all of these train-friendly volunteers, you'll see a photo of Terry, who I introduced you to just a moment ago, delivering one of the training sessions. All these folks volunteer because they love the Berg, but we want to make sure that they understand how to find the answers to things that people are asking for. We want to make sure that they're friendly and educated and engaged. So the shifts are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, following the market season. Right? October to May is what our idea was. We hit the ground in November of this past year. And so 2 shifts, 11 to 1, and then 1 to 3. So not too long. Honestly, your 2-hour shift goes by in a heartbeat, and you think, gosh, am I done already? Right? Do you find that? Absolutely. And so we roam around in the downtown parks, up Central Avenue, First Avenues, really just kind of find the flow. And we look for people with the map, right? Or people trying to find change. Didn't you make change for the parking meter just coming into this meeting today?
I was a little late coming in because as I parked, there was a family of 3 and they didn't have any change for the parking meter. And I happened to keep about $40 easy in quarters in my car. And so I made $2 worth of change really, really quick.
It never ends. It never ends. And so, Sharon, speak just for a second to the metrics. This is just some of what we've gathered, and I will clarify that the metrics are actually since January. So what you're looking at here are encounters since January.
Well, typically, what we do when we're out, and I have to say, we have never been turned away. So if we see someone, each volunteer has his or her own approach, but mine usually is hi, is there anything that I can help you with? And there have been times when people are just fine, but they thank us for just the approach. And so all of the volunteers submit anecdotal reports, and then I extract from that the numbers that we're seeing. So since the beginning of January, we actually had just 2 less than 500 encounters. Now these are single, so if we meet a crowd of people, as we did on the day of the Women's March, we couldn't even begin to tell you how many encounters we have. So if we met today, I met this family of 3, that's considered 1 encounter, but we have touched so many people. And then we've broken it up, and surprisingly, the visitors, the number is high, 223, and the locals 260, but you'd be surprised how many people consider themselves local. So I've seen people, they live in Gulfport, they'll say, well, I'm local. People from Tampa, they come for the day. They say, oh, you know, I said, are you visiting? Oh, no, I'm local. And then you find out that they're from Tampa. So some of the local numbers may not all be St. Petersburg. And then directions, we're always giving directions, the parking, and I found that in some regard, the parking isn't quite as bad to other people as it is to us. So when we want to get down Beach Drive and it's really slow, I think people who are coming here, who really are visitors, don't really find it that bad. But at any rate, that's not to say parking's off the hook, because we've had issues with the credit cards and where they don't come back out, and we've been able, the Sunshine Street team has been able to call for help, and then the person gets out little pliers and takes that out. And then probably one of the most easy encounters is when we take pictures, and people are always near the museum, or they're near the those sculptures on Beach Drive, and you see them there, and it's just so easy to say, would you like me to take a picture? And it just really, really works.
And it's amazing, just wearing this t-shirt, you ask someone to hand you their camera or their iPhone, and they will.
They'll do anything.
And we find that people, even if they say, no, I'm fine, I don't need anything, when we turn and walk away, stand up, show the back of your shirt. Yeah. Stand up and walk away, and then they go, oh, well, wait a minute, well, thank you very much. And I have to tell you that just the other day at the visitor center, at the St. Pete store where I was, near the end of my shift, a couple came in. They were visiting from Longboat Key. We welcomed them. We said, how do you like St. Pete? And they said, we don't. Tell us what we're missing here, because everybody tells us this is such a cool place. We're not seeing it. And it turns out they had come in a wrong direction, gotten turned around by construction, parked in a spot that they probably wouldn't be the most accommodating, and their first encounter, other than the entertainment district, was our Williams Park. And unfortunately, it was well populated that day with homeless and the police. And so they were very, very taken aback. Our police department sent them to the St. Pete store, where we happened to actually be, and we turned that frown upside down. I will tell you that we hand-walked them to where they needed to be for the experience they were looking for. And if that isn't the reason that we're out there, Terry, if that isn't the reason that you brought this to our attention, I don't know what is. So we could go on, and if you'd like to read more, 3-page spread in the current Northeast Journal to find out more, but we wanted to make sure that you knew what was going on out there, that you've got this group of volunteers and the Downtown Business Association, meek but mighty, spreading the word that we are your Sunshine City. And so thank you very, very much for listening to us and for waiting us out on the agenda. And so I want to thank all of our volunteers. I have to say that Rosie represents the city well, and she's not wearing her shirt, but Rosie
she's
sits
a
on the
teamer.
steering committee, and she is a Sunshine Street teamer. Yeah. All right. Thank you very, very much. And we
Thank
have,
you.
look,
Thank you,
we have some
Tammy.
new volunteers from the dais. All right.
Thank you, Tammy.
Thank
Before you
you.
guys go, Councilmember Nurse.
And this is why I had even forgotten, because it was so much work preparing for Tammy, because she's so timid. So sometimes you just have to just get out of the way.
I see.
Dr. Tomlin.
Were you going to say something?
I just had one more. We have one of our newest members happens to be the State Associate Director of AARP, who signed up, and we are also looking at it as a Healthy St. Pete opportunity, because you are walking, you are outside, and so there could be other connections with that.
Yeah, it is accidentally exercise.
Yes.
Accidentally.
It's fantastic.
Oh, I want my application
We
back.
Let him chill.
love you guys. We love you.
Excellent.
When we say help us make the sunshine here, you are what we're talking about.
Yep.
Fantastic. I know that our marketing department is watching this and just jumping up and down right now, because we've been talking about this for 3 years. And the only thing better than when we have an idea and we see it come to life successfully is when the private sector does that in an even bigger, better way. So thank you. My goodness. Fantastic. And we are going to spread the word and recruit for you and ensure that you are as successful as possible. Thank you for what you're doing.
Photo op for sure.
Yes, please
Yeah.
come up for a photo.
Great job.
Thank you.
Reservations for us, too.
Awesome.
Oh, excellent.
Can I know your t-shirts? I mean, some people give you their camera.
Yeah, hold up the shirts. Great, thank you.
Awesome job. Thank you.
Thank you.
A good ending note, too.
Great energy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for
Enthusiasm
the
is
service.
contagious. It's amazing.